Hello and welcome to Pray and Prepare. I don't know why my brightness is so messed up right now. Hold on one second. Okay, I'm going to configure video. 1 second. This is it's a little bright, so I'm gonna try to turn that down a little bit. That's not helping. Hold on. I don't know what's going on. Oh, there we go. Maybe. All right. Yep. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Pray and Prepare, episode number 5. I'm not going to address the beard situation at all. I'm not going to talk about how I was just talking about yesterday that I'm growing my beard out for a year, and I'm going to set these random goals and just follow it through. Nope. That didn't happen. And I look like this now, and it wasn't a planned thing. All right, I told my wife that I was gonna go to the barbershop to get my beard just trimmed, right, just evened out, so I look a little bit less homeless. And I don't know, because she got these professional hairstylist things, right? She was like, "Oh, let me try and cut your beard," and I was like, "All right." Whatever. And I knew that she probably was going to mess it up and I was going to have to fix it, but I was not expecting this at all. So she starts cutting it, and I'm telling her only cut a tiny little bit off the ends, and she cuts it and she goes like this, and I'm like, what? And I look, and like a giant chunk of my beard is missing, and I'm like, all right, well, I mean, you might as well continue. And then she kept going, and then she did something where the blade stopped and my beard got stuck and it was ripping it from my face. And I was like, you know what? It's all good. I'll do it. And I had to do this. And now I look like way more like professional and like less intimidating. Like my general look of being bald and growing a beard is like a coordinated effort of like laziness and wanting to like intimidate other people's children when I'm walking down the street. Like, I want to basically look as crazy and scary as possible, because I don't have to be presentable on like the dating marketplace anymore, right? So my goal is to just like put the least amount of effort in and look the scariest at this point in my life, right? So when I was like getting that little skin yarmulke on the back of my hair, which is why I decided to shave my head completely bald, I was like happy about it, right? Like everybody was like, "Oh, you need to get a hair transplant. You can take these chemicals and stuff like that." And I was like, "Are you kidding me? Like, I don't have to worry about haircuts anymore. I just have to shave my head in the shower. That takes like 5 minutes. And now, because I'm bald, I need to have hair on my face to distract from my baldness. So now I don't even have to worry about shaving, right? Like, it's basically the best of both worlds of like homelessness and being a normal member of society. Like, being married at such a young age, I don't have to worry about like attracting anyone. I can just like be comfortable and hope to scare as many people as possible. But now I look too well groomed and I look normal, and kind of sucks. But anyway, so this is the 4th day that I I'm trying this daily streaming experiment that I've been doing, and so far it's been doing pretty well. Yesterday I did a stream interviewing my dad. That was really cool, like, because it ended up being a compilation of all the stories he's told me all throughout my life, but like condensed into an hour and 10 minutes or whatever it was, right? And so like it's cool to have that now like immortalized on screen, on video or whatever, like a conversation with my dad where we had like kind of like a heart to heart, and he told me all about like his early life and growing up and stuff like that. That was pretty dope, you know. I want to try and get more of like a format going, whether I start like doing guests or stuff like that or whatever, because my biggest fear is that I'm going to run out of stuff to talk about, and like everything that I'm going to talk about today is complete nonsense that has like nothing to do with anything. Like I literally just was like writing topics down and just like saying like, "Oh, I'll talk about this tomorrow," or whatever. So I'm gonna see how long I can keep this going, but I don't know. But let's see what's going on in the chat. Papal Groiper, total Japhetite victory. I don't know what that means, but word. I agree. hold on. So basically what I want to talk about, because we were talking about the aliens the last couple of times, and it was because of that viral video of the cops seeing a light in the sky fall to the ground, and then this Mexican family calls the cops and they say that there's aliens in their backyard, and then the body cam video was released of the cops, and TMZ and all these newspapers are reporting it, saying that if you look closely, you can see in the video a blurry alien in the tractor trailer and stuff like that. And this is just, every a couple of months this has been happening. I think it's all part of predictive programming, but I'll get to more of that in a couple of minutes. But so the guy who ended up calling the cops about the alien in his backyard, this like Mexican kid, right? He looks like he's like probably early teens, I guess, right? Maybe 14, 15, 16 years old. He put out a video where he's telling his story about what happened that night and why he called the cops and what he saw and his experience and stuff like that. And it is super bizarre and weird, right? The guy can barely speak English. He has he can speak English, but he has a very thick Mexican accent. He's reading a script like off of his phone to the side, right? And he's every 2 seconds he'll say like what he's reading with no emotion, or like if it really happened, he shouldn't have to be like reading word for word or whatever, right? But I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. And he's like literally scrolling up every 2 seconds to tell you the details of what happened. And I'm listening to the story, and at first it seems like he's sincere. Maybe he's just nervous. He never made a video before or something along those lines. But then the story is just not adding up. The story that he was basically saying was that he heard a crash in his backyard or something. He came out. There was some type of vehicle that he never saw before that was shaped like a circle, I guess. And there were two giant 8 feet creatures. One was in the vehicle and one was outside of it, I guess. And he ran into the house and everybody saw the aliens, and then they called the cops, and then they all went back inside and started making coffee while they waited for the cops. And for some reason, during all of this time, nobody thought to take their camera out and like take a picture of the creatures. Of course, in 2023, who has a camera phone like that? I wouldn't expect anybody to have that out. And of course, all the pictures are out of focus and blurry. But it just doesn't make sense. Like, so you see aliens in your backyard, and you call the cops, and then you go into your house and have coffee while you wait for cops to come, and then the cops come and you're like, oh, they were right here. I don't know. And the only evidence that is left behind is a picture that is like vaguely, like you can barely see it, but it's a picture of the dirt, the ground, and you see a circle shape that is supposed to imply that there was some type of circular ship that lifted off and left like a cloud of dust or something like that. And that's literally all the evidence. So now, every time this happens, it gets to the alien talk. Most people know my position, and most people disagree with my position on it. But I'm gonna kind of break down some of because everybody thinks that like I'm a total like conspiracy theorist, which I kind of am. But there's a lot of conspiracy theories I don't believe in, But I definitely am more believing in more esoteric or more out there conspiracies than a lot of other people. But I think aliens are completely fake and gay. I think that if you believe in aliens, that you're retarded. And I think that obsessing with space and like what's beyond that and all that stuff is just a distraction. I think that we don't even know how the earth works properly. We don't even know the creatures that live in the deepest part of the oceans and stuff like that. Why do we have to focus on what the possibilities of what's out there when we don't even know our own planets, right? Not to mention, everybody calls me a flat earther, and I don't care, but it's not that I'm a flat earther. It's that I don't believe any government agency. I don't believe NASA, and I wouldn't put it past the government to lie about the shape of the earth. I don't know why that is so hard for people to get into. You can talk about anything, but if you suggest that the earth might not be the shape that the government tells you, then you're a total schizophrenic loser, right? But so I don't know. The thing about it is that even if aliens are real, it doesn't change anything. It would be our duty as Catholics to probably try to like baptize them and like evangelize them, but then we would still have to like defend our homeland. But I think that if aliens are ever like they come here, it's going to be a total psyop. The government's going to be totally controlling it. It's either going to be like the holographic Project Blue Beam thing, or it's going to be a false flag thing. Instead of blaming another country for attacking you at the pretense of going to war, you can have an alien attack, false flag, right? I'm not saying this is going to happen. This is just my schizophrenic brain, like thinking of the possibilities, right? If they can make false flag attacks where they have their own people killed, and then they blame it on other countries, even though they did it to their own citizens, so that they can convince their own population to go to war, then who's to say that all of these UFO sightings and all of this stuff isn't like a preconditioning or like predictive programming or whatever to get people used to the idea that there are aliens or something along those lines, so then they can do a false flag attack and use that to not only get us going to war like as a country, but as a people of the world, like to promote globalism. Like they need to say like, oh, this alien attack is happening, race and country and culture, all that stuff doesn't matter now. We need to come together as a human species and fight against these aliens, Like I wouldn't put it past them trying to do something like that, right? Like now this sounds like all sci-fi, like schizophrenic LARP, which it probably is, but that would be my first thought if aliens ever came here, right? If like all of a sudden on the news you saw breaking news, government confirms first contact with aliens. We're gonna have the first interview with alien life form, blah blah blah, and they're saying that we made contact and it's proven now that aliens exist and blah blah. I wouldn't believe that at all. My first thought would be like, this is completely fake and gay. This is CGI. This is all some type of plot to like do something, whatever, right? Like I wouldn't believe that it is what it is at face value. And I think a lot of people would fall into that. And it's going to be so easy, especially with all the new technology and stuff that's been coming out. Like I talked about AI the other day, but like the deep fakes and stuff. The deep fakes are getting so good now that no matter what leaks from like a famous celebrity or something, you're never going to be able to tell what's real and what's not. And if something of like a politician leaks of them doing something disgusting and degenerate that would usually mess up their political chances or something, then they could just say, oh, it's a deep fake. It's not real. That's not real. And people are not going to know what to believe anymore. It's plausible deniability for everything now. You're never going to know what's real or fake. And the implications are what they could use for that on a grand scale. If some guy just with a cell phone and a homemade green screen can fool millions of people into thinking that he's Tom Cruise with some like cheap deepfake software or whatever, what can the government, who has unlimited resources of money and trillions of dollars and technology that's probably 20 years more advanced than us, what can they do with that technology that they can use to subvert their own population for continued power and money? So I don't believe anything at face value. And people think that I'm just like a conspiracy retard or whatever, and maybe I am to a certain degree. But all the stuff that has been proven to be conspiracies in like everything, like MK Ultra, Project Mockingbird, 9/11, Pearl Harbor, the information that they had prior to that. I was just watching a documentary on that the other day. Like everything has been like proven to be so fake and gay, and the government has constantly been proven time and time again to subvert the values and trust of their own population in order to maintain power and to profit. Meanwhile, their own citizens suffer. And people will acknowledge that they have done this in the past. Like, yeah, the CIA had a heart attack gun. They did all this stuff and secretly took out other countries' leaders and led coups and all this stuff or whatever. But then, like, you say something like, oh, well, I think that, probably like the CIA and the Mossad had something to do with 9/11, and they're like, oh, you're just a conspiracy theorist or whatever. It's like, oh, what? So you think that like after the heart attack gun and after they admitted to MK Ultra and Project Mockingbird and everything that is mainstream and killing JFK and all that stuff, you think after that they were just like, you know what? Let's play by the book now. Let's, now now we've done all that stuff, and they've given us the benefit of the doubt. Let's just stick to the rules now and never do any type of conspiracy that the citizens don't know about. Like, do you think that's what happened? No, of course. Our government is evil. It is literally the most evil government in the history of the world. And I was watching this Shane Gillis podcast. Shane Gillis is like one of my favorite comedians, and he was like, I know he was like semi-joking, but he was talking about how the American government is like the kindest government in the history of the world. And I was just like, no, I would argue the opposite. I would say that the British Empire was probably the most evil government for a while, and then America kind of like overtook them. I would consider Canada more evil than America, because Canada is just a worse version of America. Like, it's like 10 years in the future of liberalism compared to America. But then again, I don't think Canada has nearly as much power as America, so you can't even like really compare it to that. I don't know. Hold on. Ooh. I didn't even look at the chat. Okay, looking good. Thank you very much. Am I not? I'm streaming on YouTube, I think. Yeah, I'm streaming on YouTube. Oh, it's private. Crud. Okay, hold on. I don't know how to... I did that because I'm going to... because I was talking about some little stuff, edgy stuff that I shouldn't be talking about on YouTube, the last couple of things, so I made it private so it wouldn't get a strike. But, yeah. Let's see. If there were aliens, I think the 8-foot makes sense if they are demons or Nephilim. Well, Nephilim are supposed to be the offspring of angels and demons, right? That's like the legend in the Bible, and I don't think the Catholic Church has an official stance on whether or not Nephilim were real, but I do believe that. I believe that they were. I believe that they were. That it's either Nephilim or giants, and we can start here. I unironically believe that giants used to exist along with regular humans, and I believe that like giants are the ones who built the pyramids and other stuff. I don't believe in dinosaurs, so I believe in giants and I believe in dragons. I'm not being ironic or like I'm dead butt. Okay, I'm dead butt serious that I believe that dinosaurs is a Masonic psyop. I believe in order to push evolution and further push people away from God and stuff like that. Look at like when all of the fossils were suddenly found, like right after the theory of evolution became a widespread thing. A bunch of scientists got together and all of a sudden they started finding all of these bones of these unknown species, and almost all of them were found in like a 40-year span. Makes absolutely no sense, right? There's actually a video by this cringe guy named Eric Dubé, who is I probably disagree with him ideologically on a vast majority of things because he's like this cringe pagan yoga weirdo. And he like talks like I don't even know. My friend does a really good impression of him, but he's very monotone and weird, like feminine. But anyway, he has some good content is what I was trying to say. I just like ended up going on a rant about all the negative qualities of this guy. But he has a good videos on that stuff. Giants 100% existed. The Smithsonian destroyed thousands of skeletons of them. I believe it. Oh, and that was the I think I've told the story like a bunch of times, unfortunately. Let me try to think. Oh yeah, so when I first met my wife, she didn't believe in dinosaurs and I did. Right, because I was still kind of like in my agnostic, phase or whatever, and she didn't believe in dinosaurs, and I was like, what are you retarded? Like, what do you mean you don't believe in dinosaurs or whatever, right? And then, because I invited her to go to a dinosaur museum, I think in Manhattan, and we started talking that she doesn't believe in dinosaurs, and I was like, okay, right. So, but she still wanted to go to the museum, so we go to the museum and we see this big giant Tyrannosaurus Rex skeleton, like 30 feet tall. And I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Like, they got all these bones and put them together to recreate the stance of an animal that lived millions of years ago. That is so cool. Like, science, man. That's awesome, right? And then I look at the plaque, and it says that the authentic bone is 1/3 of an inch of the rib cage or something. and they show like an outline of the shard of bone that is apparently the authentic bone from the Tyrannosaurus Rex, and the rest of the skeleton, everything that isn't that little shard, is the artist's hypothetical rendition of what the dinosaur would look like, made out of materials that are not bone. So they're openly admitting it, but like that they have no idea, basically, right? And then even the mainstream thing is that, oh, we thought they used to have scales. Now we think that they all had feathers and stuff like that. And then they use like carbon dating. Carbon dating is only accurate up to like 2,500 years. And then everything past that is an estimate. Like the discoverer of carbon dating even admitted it, that you can't be accurate past a certain number of years. And they expect us to believe that we can know about these animals that lived hypothetically millions of years ago. I don't believe it at all. I believe giants existed. I believe dragons existed. I don't believe dinosaurs existed in the way that they tell us. What else? Do I believe in the giants of Kandahar? I don't know what that is. I don't think space is cool. See, like, the way that I think that the Earth is and that space is that I think that it's what the ancient Hebrews thought it was. That it's a circular, flat land, right, surrounded by ice, and it's covered with a firmament that's kind of like I guess like it kind of looks like a what are those things that you shake? Snow globe type thing, right? So that's kind of what I think that the Earth looks like, if I'm being completely honest. Now, I don't know. I also think that it's also possible that the Earth is not only like flat, but that it is much bigger and there is much more land that normal people haven't been exposed to. Because there's numerous videos online from the 1950s of these explorers that were searching through Antarctica or whatever, and they said that they saw another continent almost the same size as North America over the ice wall, right? And then he like died, and it was never talked about again. You know. Also, one of the Nazi scientists who was brought to America to work for NASA during Project Paperclip, which is another thing that everybody knows about, is that, oh, Nazis are the most evil people in the world. There's no redemption for any type of Nazis. They were horrible. They were our enemies, and we need to annihilate them. And we need to make movies about how awesome it is to scalp them and dehumanize them and all this stuff. But after the war, we let a bunch of Nazi scientists come work for our space agency, and they lived the rest of their lives in America completely free. Oh, okay, that makes sense. But yeah, so the guy comes from Project Paperclip to. What was I'm like my brain is so fried. What was I talking about? Project Paperclip. Oh yeah, so getting the Nazis to work at the space program, and the most famous Nazi, who I think was one of the people that helped us get to the moon, supposedly, don't believe in that either. He had a quote on his tombstone that references God creating the firmament. So the implication is that he had a biblical view, like a literal biblical view of the Earth, rather than like a scientific one, even though he was like the lead scientist of NASA, right? Yeah, so I don't know what the truth is or whatever, but I don't have any reason to believe any type of government or space agency. And I think it's insane that people can know that we've been lied to about so much, but even the idea that it's even hypothetically possible that the government could lie to us about the way the Earth looks or works, people thinking that that's like where you draw the line, that's too far, that's insane. I just think that's kind of silly, you know? Hitler definitely fled to Colombia. No. I think that if he did escape, I think that, what's it called? He went to Argentina, like we talked about.
Coming to you from an undisclosed location deep in the heart of the Santa Monica Mountains, I'm your intrepid host, L.A. Marzulli, and this is politics, prophecy.
Okay, I'm not watching that. He could have fled to Argentina, but I don't know, because the book that I have, Hitler's War by David Irving, he believes that Hitler killed himself, and his proof is from like the diaries of like other people who were around Hitler when he killed himself. Things that were never released to the public that he found when he was researching to do his book, and he personally translated from the original languages. So these diaries were written from people that saw Hitler kill himself and took his body and Eva Braun's body and their dog's body and like burned it or whatever. Right now, you could say that Hitler told them that no matter what, you don't tell anybody. You write in your diaries that I'm dead. Nobody could ever know anything, and then they secretly moved him to Argentina. That's always a possibility, but I think that's kind of like it's like something that is just pointless to debate, because even if it is true, it doesn't really change anything besides possibly the state of his soul if he were to repent. But it doesn't change anything that happened in the world, because according to the world and according to everything else, that's the war ended, because, well, that's how Germany surrendered the war, right? Because Hitler died, and then with the nukes to Japan, right? Von Braun's modest grave marker refers to one of his favorite biblical passages. Hitler actually drew a really pretty picture of the Blessed Virgin Mary. Let me see if I can find it. Hitler Mary painting. Yeah, there it is. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. You guys see that? So yeah, so Hitler painted that. So he had, because his mother apparently was a devoted Catholic. So at the very least, he had some reverence towards Catholicism and our iconography and stuff like that. But he was definitely not a good standing Catholic. Hitler would probably be dead by now. Yeah, he'd be like 124, I think. All right. What year was he born? All right, super chat from. Oh yeah, by the way, I never mentioned that you could send super chats to me, and you should, because I really like money. And I just bought a Steam Deck, so I want to not have paid as much for that. So if you give me money, it'll be like I paid less for the Steam Deck. So do that. Marion Bro says, "Hey Spexo, unrelated. Do you say the Rosary in Latin? Sounds powerful." No, the only prayer that I know in Latin, and I know it not even like good or well, I should say, is the Our Father. And that's the only prayer that I know in Latin. And I've been meaning to try to start learning the Hail Mary in Latin, but I just have not gotten around to it. But I think it's cool. It's like, first of all, it's cool because Latin is like the universal church's language, right? And also it's kind of like a flex, right? That Latin and other people don't. So it's all beneficial to just learn Latin and pray in Latin. What else? Okay. Yes, I see the super chats. A Catholic priest saved Hitler from drowning when he was 4 years old. Word. I heard also that Hitler was getting confirmed and he ran out of his confirmation or something. I don't know. There's so much conflicting stories about that it's hard to say what's actually real. We know for a fact that he wasn't explicitly anti-Christian, but that he did persecute Catholics for being more loyal to the church than the German state. And that was Bishop Williamson talks about this. He says that the reason that Hitler didn't win the war was because he wasn't fighting for God. He was fighting for material purposes. He was fighting for racial ethnic and nationalism and all that stuff, but he didn't put God first, right? And as a result, God allowed Germany to basically be destroyed, and that is ultimately what led to Hitler's downfall, right? Because Hitler, like the euthanasia stuff, right? Like I really don't care about like debating about like the Holocaust or whatever. Like regardless of whatever you believe, Hitler did a lot of stuff that is against the Catholic faith, and you can't endorse that stuff if you want to be in good standing with the Catholic Church. You can say that he did, he had good qualities, but ultimately why he didn't win was because he wasn't Catholic. Hold on, I'm trying to look. Oh yeah. So now all of a sudden, by the way, the reason I'm streaming now instead of 7:00 is because today had a weird schedule or whatever, and I figured I would just stream now because I had a nice little calm day. But it is like really sunny and warm out, and last Wednesday we were thinking that it was going to be the apocalypse. All of a sudden it was just orange everywhere, and they say that the reason for that was because of a fire in Canada or something, which makes no sense. I have never heard of a fire from like 1,000 miles away causing another city to be completely orange. And then like the whole day, everybody was talking about how it's never going to clear up for months or whatever. And I was like, I've never heard about this. I remember 9/11, like I remember seeing it smoking for months, but it didn't affect other cities like thousands of miles away. The only place that I remember it maybe affecting was New Jersey, which is right across the river or whatever. So it's like, you expect me to believe, and the way the thing happened with Canada was apparently all these fires got started simultaneously, and that was causing crazy weather for all these different places around the country. And I think that it's all complete, like, once again, I think that's a complete psyop. I think that they either set the fire on purpose or they're doing some type of agenda to push climate change. Here's my thing. Not everything is a conspiracy theory to the point where, like, they plan stuff out, but no matter what happens, whether it's completely planned out by them or not, they will always manage to use it to, like, their advantage, right? Like, they'll like groom somebody to shoot up a school or something, right? And when they shoot up the school, they'll use it to push gun control or whatever the news cycle is of that week, whatever they want to distract us from that week. And then somebody else will shoot up a school, and maybe this one guy wasn't directly, gaslit by or groomed by like a direct FBI agent, right? Maybe it wasn't a conspiracy theory. Maybe this person was just like a legit psycho and killed a bunch of people. They're still going to use his actions to push the same agenda they would have used it to do anyway if they did plan it. So it's like, I don't know why people are so like I think that you're a weirdo if you're not conspiratorially minded. I think that if you actually believe anything at face value, that you're like a legit psychopath. But on the flip side, you have people that go way overboard, right? Like the crazy stuff that I believe in, like flat earth and stuff like that, I could at least acknowledge that it's crazy and that like it's not something that's going to be popular with a lot of people and whatever. I don't really care. It's not like, as long as you're Catholic. And that's another thing too, is that like that the Catholic Church does not have an official stance on whether or not the earth is flat or not. You are allowed to believe whichever you want. And if the Catholic Church did make a definitive stance that the earth was round, even if I have a hard time of believing that, if the church said that, then I would be obligated to agree, right? But it hasn't, and the earth is flat. So, I was going to tell another conspiracy theory that I think about, but I'm not sure. But why it was orange and all at the same time. Yeah, so why was the thing orange from 1,000 miles away, and then they were trying to like prime us for it to be all summer thing. They basically said that this is going to last through like July or August. And then 18 hours later, it was just completely out of the news and the weather was completely cleared up. Like, I just don't get it. I don't understand. I don't get what is going on, you know? There was all that fertilizer or whatever. Yeah, right? So, and what happened to all the stuff, all the shipments that were blowing up and catching on fire, all the food shortages? What happened to COVID? Like, I feel like the national hive mind has such autistic attention span to where, and like, I'm not innocent of this, obviously I'm guilty too, because like it's just always something. It's like we're oversaturated with insane things happening that it just distracts us from these other insane things. But it's crazy with COVID because that was like legit insane, and nobody seems to care anymore. It's like people lost their jobs. They destroyed small businesses. Meanwhile, all these corporations got 10 times richer. They destroyed communities. People were killing themselves. People were getting sick because they weren't going outside. You forced places to close down. You forced people to stay away from each other and wear masks. Then you forced people to get a vaccine. And then 2 years later, you slowly roll it back and say, oh, yeah, you know, I know we fired you because you didn't want to take the vaccine, but we're rolling that back. Now you can. And it's like, let's just forgive and forget. Forget that we, like, destroyed your lives and we dehumanized anybody that was skeptical of the vaccine. And now they're, like, changing censorship laws and stuff because of, censorship rules on YouTube or whatever, which is another thing I wanted to talk about, which was, like, the silver lining of... I know I'm like ADHD and I keep jumping over places. This is how I talk. I know a silver lining of technological advancements, because I talked about Uncle Ted dying the other day, but a silver lining of access being so readily available to normal people in order to create like new platforms and stuff is great for free speech and the possibility of having our ideas get out there. And I know I'm not saying anything revolutionary, but like 5 years ago, nobody could compete with YouTube. Nobody can compete with Twitter. But now with people like Sneeko and Andrew Tate and stuff going on these alternative platforms who maybe a couple of years ago wouldn't be able to handle that much traffic, now because they're getting dozens of thousands of live viewers on their platform, YouTube has basically been forced to say, okay, we have to reverse our policy on like election misinformation and stuff like that. And that's what we need to happen, right? Because like look at Gab. Look how long it took Gab to be even semi-functional, and it's not on the App Store. It still can't, really run that well on like you can make it kind of like your own app, but it's still not like an official thing because it's not allowed on the Play Store or the App Store, right? But if more people are able to get in control of servers or are able to like create apps and stuff like that and broaden the horizon where more people are seeing that they have different options where they don't have to follow the gay rules of like YouTube or Twitter and stuff like that, all it's going to do is benefit people who want to still use Twitter and YouTube because the UI is great and it's like has the best production behind it, but they don't want to follow their gay censorship or whatever. But now if YouTube is like, oh, we need these people back, so we need to lessen our censorship. So I think that'll be ultimately a good thing. But just because there are benefits of the technological advancement in the Industrial Revolution and stuff like that, doesn't mean that the good outweighs the bad in any sense of the word. In any sense of, I don't even know what I was trying to say, but whatever, you know what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't mean that it benefits, that the benefits of the Industrial Revolution outweigh the negatives of it. I'm retarded. And I saw that Keith Woods is doing a video or a stream or something where he's talking about why Ted Kaczynski was wrong. So I think maybe I'll watch that tomorrow. Maybe that'll be tomorrow's stream where I like watch it and see if I agree with him or not. Because like I said, my position was that Ted Kaczynski was 100% correct on the state of the world and everything going on and how humans have basically devolved due to technology and how we have lost any sense of worth or goals. And due to this, we have lost control of even regulating technology. And it's going to get to the point where society is going to change so much that we're not going to be able to control it. And now you see all the stuff with like transhumanism and the Neuralink and stuff like that, putting chips in everybody. And it's like, how do we stop this? There needs to be a stopping point, right? Now, I think, like I said, I think that Uncle Ted was wrong about his solution, and he was very unrealistic. But like, we really do have to address the problem with unregulated technological advancement in the hands of just everyday people. Like, it's insane. Like, yeah, a lot of good can be done, but also like you could destroy the world and create like a brainwashing civilization or whatever. I don't know. All super scary stuff. Very exciting times to be alive. I'm not really sure. Heard it might be they burned the ammonium nitrate missing from train derailment. Yeah, I heard that. I think I posted something like that where somebody posted that a chemical that was on the derailment that lit up what held some type of chemical, and that chemical supposedly burns at like orange hue, and that was what it was coming over to New York or whatever. Also, what happened to the whole Ohio thing, right? Ohio, didn't like a couple of months ago something exploded there, and they were talking about the air quality and how horrible it was or whatever. It doesn't make any sense. Oh, okay, hold on. Bob H sent a super chat, said, I really hope Hitler escaped and recommitted himself to his Catholic faith in exile and is in heaven now. Also, can I get unbanned in chat? I don't know who you are. Look, thank you for the super chat. People keep sending super chats. It's awesome. I love money so much. But I don't ban people really from my chat unless like you happen to catch me where like I'm in it for some reason and like you say something dumb and I'm like, okay, I'm banning this guy. I don't really interact in my chat that much. Same thing with what else? What was it? Now I just got suspended from Twitter, so I'm not the one banning. If you are banned from my chat, it's likely because you broke the rules and one of my mods banned you, and you can message Bird Enjoyer or Papal Groiper, I think, is a mod too. Oh, same thing with my cozy chat. That's what I was going to say. I'm not the one banning people. So talk to my mods. Do you have any evidence for flat Earth? I'm trying to search up for flat Earth, but everything that I find just mocks it on the internet. Do I have any evidence for flat Earth? Just like my eyes. Really the biggest thing that convinced me is like the dimensions thing. And I've talked about this numerous times. So NASA and every space agency or whatever says that the Earth is certain dimensions. I don't know what the actual numbers are, right? But they say it's certain dimensions, and they say that if you are looking straight ahead and there's nothing obstructing you, right? And like every, just say 10,000, every 1,000 feet, there's going to be drop off because of the curvature of the Earth, right? So that means that 1,000 feet, there's 2 feet of drop off. 200 feet, there's 3 feet of drop off, which means that the further and further away that it is, you're eventually not going to be able to see it because it's going over the curb. And when you see boats going out into the distance, that's how they proved flat Earth in the 1400s or whatever, that when you see the boat disappearing over the horizon, that's because it's going over the curvature. That's just completely not true. A new camera was released. It's like the Nikon P90 or something like that. That was able to zoom in where our eyes couldn't see completely straight. It was like 9,000 zoom or something like that. And immediately brings the boat right back into frame and continues going straight, never going over the horizon. It goes over to the horizon to us because we can't see that far ahead, but once you were able to zoom in like that, you could see that it was going straight. They also were able to see mountains and all these other things, all these other states that they would not be able to see if the Earth was actually the dimensions that NASA is saying that it is, right? So at the very least, they are lying about the dimensions because technology is kind of advancing past their ability to lie and fool people in a certain sense, right? But on the other hand, they also have access to that technology too, so it's also easier to fool us. It's just like a never-ending thing. But I am not like somebody who wants to debate people on like the flat Earth thing. I'm like a grug brain flat earther. I'm just like, I don't feel movements. I don't think that NASA is trustworthy. and I've never seen any real evidence that the Earth is round. And all pictures and stuff from like sources that say that the Earth is round, like NASA and any other space agency, is all from like government-funded places, right? Like there's no independent explorer or scientist that like can show a picture of the Earth. And all the pictures of the Earth that they just put out there and don't really say it. Like if you go and you look up, you'll realize that it's an artist rendition. It's just like the dinosaurs. Just like the dinosaurs. They'll say like, oh, well, some of it's real, but we had to, Photoshop it in order to encompass everything that we took a picture of. So like, that's not really how it looks, but like, that's like the best angle we can do. And then you have Neil deGrasse Tyson saying that, oh, actually the Earth is shaped like a pear. It's not really completely a sphere. It's actually more like elongated on the bottom or whatever. And then, so you also have the pictures from NASA though that show a perfect circle. And then you have these pictures from different years, right, where it's showing all the Earth all throughout the years, and it's clearly completely different in size, and the land is completely in different places, right? So it's just silly. It's just silly. It's not beyond a reasonable doubt to think that the shape of the Earth has been lied about, and not even just the shape of the Earth, but everything we know about the universe. Everything that these modern 20th and 21st century scientists tell us about anything, I refuse to believe at face value, right? And that's not to say that I believe conspiracy theories at face value either, but I'm much more open-minded that the government would lie over the government ever doing anything for the good of its own people or for some type of altruistic reasoning. There's always an ulterior motive. And even if they have nothing to do with some type of tragedy or event or whatever, they will always use it for their benefit as if they did plan it in the first place. I live in the Midwest. There is smoke in the air from Canada every day, almost for the past couple of months. I live in the Midwest. There is smoke in the air from Canada. Okay, maybe. I mean, I don't know. I never heard about that. And it's very odd. For me, it just doesn't make sense that everything was just suddenly orange. It was like somebody put an Instagram filter over the world, right, outside. Everything was bright orange. And then they said, like, oh, this is how it's going to be for all summer. And then the next day it was beautiful out, and I hear nobody else talking about it, Search Mr. Blue Marble. He's the guy at NASA. How did all of the renderings for the most popular... Oh, he did all the renderings for the most popular images of Earth. Okay. Every time, what's crazy? No matter when I stream or when I talk about it, anytime I mention anything about not believing in space or flat Earth or anything like that, Jackson always comes in, always has to. Flat Earth has no predictive power, cannot predict anything about the world, unlike the globe. I don't know what that means. What do you mean predictive power? I mean, didn't they have the Mayan calendars and all these other ways of predicting things prior to the 1400s, where the overwhelming majority of people believed in flat Earth? Oh, and that's another thing too. People think that after 1492, when Columbus suggested that the Earth was round, that everybody just suddenly believed in that the Earth was round. No. There was it was a big controversy. There was a long period where it was hugely debated, and even in America, up until 1958, there were still public schools that were teaching that a flat Earth model. Another thing, not to mention, ask any pilots, anybody who flies planes, and I'm sure there has to be somebody who flew planes somewhere in our chats or something like that. Ask them if they ever, no matter where they fly, if they ever have to take the curvature of the Earth into consideration, where they have to bow down the tip. Right? Because if the Earth was round and you were flying across the Earth, then you would have to dip it down so you wouldn't fly off of the ball of the Earth. Right? Ask any pilot. That is not anything in flying. My cousin-in-law's ex-boyfriend or whatever is a pilot, like a legit professional pilot for a legit airport, right? Airline. Right? Or however piloting works, he flies planes, right? And he says that when you're flying a plane, there is no point where you're having to to like dip it down like that. That doesn't make any sense. So, public schools used to be more decentralized. Yeah, it was silly. But my whole thing with the flat earth thing is that who cares, honestly? It's not that compared relative to other stuff, it's not that big of a deal. It's not something that people should be like, oh, that's what you believe that? Like, you can't be on our side then. Like, I don't feel like it's like something like abortion or something egregious like that. You know, like where you're like, oh no, you're not on our side. You believe in that. Like, it's just, who cares? It's the shape of the earth, dude. I don't think mods can't unban Uncozy. Who do I have to unban? I'm not even on TikTok. Oh wait, hold on. Okay, Marion Bro sent a super chat. Thank you very much. Your intro rap song and Logos Triumphant really motivate me. Here's my thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Wizardly Woodchuck, thank you for the super chat. Where's the best place to view your past Pray and Prepare streams? Yeah, so I've made them all private yesterday. Because I have a strike on my YouTube channel. Usually the Logos Triumphant ones don't get strikes or like flagged or anything like that. But whenever I do solo streams, a lot of times if I leave them up, they seem to get strikes for some reason. So I don't know if I'm going to make a Telegram page or first I'm going to see if I continue streaming on a regular basis. And if I do, then I'm going to naturally want to try to monetize and grift financially off as many people as possible. So I'll make a Patreon or something along those lines. What I think is going to end up happening, though, if I'm going to be realistic, though, is that I'm going to get bored of streaming and just stop doing it for like an extended period of time and then do it once in a while again. And then eventually I'll get obsessed with an idea that I should do it again. And then I'll do it for a couple of days. And it'll just be a repeated cycle that my life has been forever because I'm stuck in a purgatory of indecisiveness. So, yeah, if we could prove the earth is flat and that it is a satanic lie, then we can convert many, many more. I understand what you're trying to say, but I don't think that you're going to, like, your waypoint for normal people to become Catholic is to first open up with flat earth. Like, I think that that might turn people off a little bit. I think that maybe you want to, like, start with, like, you know, Jesus loves you or something. Like, I don't think they're going to be responsive to the earth is flat and, by the way, Jesus died for your sins. I think you could have a better way of talking to somebody. But, I mean, I think whether the earth is flat or not is irrelevant. It doesn't prove or disprove God. But you can see how this obsession with space and this idea of like everything's just an accident and nothing matters or whatever is promoted through the perpetuation of space interest, where these atheist ideologies and this materialism and this just nihilism, do whatever you want, be a heathen, no, not heathen, hedonistic, be hedonistic, right? Like, it's just it's used as a further thing to that. Now you could also say, well, if the universe is infinite and ever expanding, and we're the only planet with intelligent life or whatever, like, then that just further proves God's power and how amazing He is, which is fine. That's an argument too. I'm just saying that either way, it doesn't disprove or prove God's existence. But I would say that the globe earth model is clearly used to perpetuate like materialism and hedonistic stuff and push people away from God, right? Plus space and all this stuff, the NASA and all these like programs or whatever is like $1 trillion industry. It's basically a money laundering scheme, I think. I don't think it's anything to whatever. Flat Earth isn't a religious thing, just further proof we are being lied to about everything every day. Facts. I'm trying to think of any other conspiracies that I believe in. I don't believe in like the Loch Ness Monster, like I said. I don't believe in QAnon. Actually, I don't know. Let's see. I had other stuff I wanted to talk about, but I already did over an hour, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, what are they doing in Antarctica? Look up the Antarctic Treaty, which is also another very sketchy thing where all these countries who were at war with each other decided to sign a treaty that they were going to let science handle Antarctica and nobody's going to be allowed to go to a certain point and stuff like that. Like, very odd that in the middle of a war where they're trying to kill each other, they're like, oh no, but we can all, guys, I know we hate each other, but we can all agree, like, we need to take a step back from this war and deal with Antarctica and what we want to do with that icy place, right? Like, I think that's just makes no sense. Papal says, are you red-pilled on all people descending from the sons of Noah? I mean, that's kind of obvious, right? Because God wiped out the entire earth except for Noah and his family. So we're all descended from Noah, right? Wouldn't that be? Yeah, I mean, I guess. Is there a different red pill? Thank you for the super chat. Marion, bro, another super chat, thank you. He says, hey, Spexo, a little unrelated. Do you think supporting Trump is worthwhile, even after the vaccine? Yeah, absolutely. The vaccine is like another thing that is cringe, and we are let down about it. But also notice how he's kind of pulled back from that. But really, there is no excuse for that. That's one thing that we kind of have to address and be like, no, like, you got to stop that completely. We can't support the vaccine stuff. And, I mean, it's just going back to the same thing that we've all been saying since, like, 2018. Nobody's saying Trump is perfect. Nobody's saying that, like, he's going to save all of us and it's gonna be so much better, blah, 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 or whatever. It's like he's our best option at the moment. And it's bigger than Trump the person. It's about what he represents, the middle class, predominantly white people that he galvanized, just making up my own words now, that he galvanized, and the Overton window that he basically destroyed and helped push all of these taboo topics to, like, basically the mainstream. Like, everything is changed forever in the country because of Trump. And to the point where they had to steal the election. And that's another thing, too, is, like, why bother if they're just going to steal the election again, you know? But it's like, what else are you going to do? What else are you going to do? There's not going to be a revolution. You're not going to do anything. All we can do is what's best for ourselves and our families, and get into positions where maybe we can make small changes in our community and continue to support people in politics that are trying to push our same views, right? Like, you can't, I don't know. I think that, like, people take it like, oh, how you're going to vote for Trump? You actually think that he's going to change anything? It's like, I don't know. It's like, but everybody else is like satanic pedophiles that, like, kill children, and, like, I don't like that. So I would, if I have the option to vote, even if my vote might not mean anything, if it does mean something, then I'm going to vote for the guy who has the least likelihood of being a satanic child pedophile. So that's my view on the political situation in the world. Yeah, exactly. The ultimate goal is heaven. Our souls are what's most important. All this other stuff is nonsense. People, like, it's good to be politically involved, and it's our Christian duty to try to push the temporal world in the direction of God. But people also need to be realistic, put limitations on your expectations. No matter how many times you fail, continue to try, and but don't be unrealistic too. Don't think that, like, oh, when we have another president for those 4 years, he's gonna completely fix everything, and then then we'll go right back to the same democratic system and vote somebody else in, and then he'll talk about how evil the other person is, and how the Democrat is a murderer and a country destroyer, and she's one of the most evil people in the world who deserves to be executed. But then if they win the election, there's like, oh, well, you got to respect the process. I'm an American, and that old saying, like, I might not agree with what you say, but I will die defending your right to say it. I would not. I would be in favor of, like, executing blasphemers and stuff, and, like, women who talk out of turn, nothing extreme, but yeah. What were we talking about? We riding with Don. Yeah, MAGA hat back on. What was the question? Oh, the vaccine. Yeah, don't get the vaccine. I believe that the Earth is at least 7,000 years old. Kent Hovind is a defender of this, but unfortunately he's Protestant. Yeah, and a lot of Catholics are becoming not flat earthers, but is it geocentric? What is the what's the one where the geocentric relating to man from blah blah blah. A superseded description of the universe from Earth at the center. So what's the so it's geocentric, and what's the other centric? What other centricities are we working with? What's the one where that's the fake and gay Masonic Judeo-NASA one that says that the other thing is happening? The Earth is going around everything instead of everything going around the Earth. Hydrocentric? Heliocentric. I think we should change that to hydrocentric. I like hydrocentric better. Yeah. So, like, a lot of people are going to heliocentrism or whatever, which I'm that too, I guess. But they won't take the next step to flat Earth, which is very strange because I feel like with believing in heliocentrism, you're believing that like every government is lying about everything about how the universe works, but like you're stopping at like a very strange, arbitrary point, right? How long have I been streaming? Yeah, I've been doing over an hour. Oh, I gotta go. I'm gonna bounce, actually. Let's see. If anybody wants to give me more money before I leave, that'd be cool too. But if not, it's all right. Tomorrow, I don't know what I'm gonna stream. I think I'm gonna check out that Keith Woods video, and I might do one of those. Like I might do a reaction video to him or whatever. But I don't know. I've been getting a decent 50 viewers just for a chill stream. It's pretty cool, and I've been having fun doing these streams, so I might just keep doing it. But we'll see. Geocentric is what you are. Goofball flipped it around. What did I flip around? I'm geocentric, but heliocentrism is the one that I'm not, right? I called it hydrocentric. Geocentric is where people are becoming geocentric. I don't know. All right. I love you guys. Thank you for watching.